Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we will learn how to use radio button, and we will also see the challenge of creating two radio button groups. In the screenshot, you can see there are two groups of radio buttons. This is the first group, and this one is the second group. Right? Alright, now we will proceed. Like checkbox control, radio button control also has two states. One is checked and another one is unchecked. So the appearance may be different. When in a checkbox, if you click on it and it indicates checked state with a tick mark, radio button, the appearance will be like a circle, and when you place a check mark, it will put a dot inside the circle, stating that the radio button is currently in a selected state. So if your form contains multiple checkboxes, you can freely select any number of checkboxes. Right? This means you can select more than one checkbox. But radio buttons comes in a group. Instead of checkbox, if we state we have 4 radio button in a single group, then you can select only one radio in a group. Right? When you place a tick mark on the other group, this will be removed. I mean, the tick mark will be removed. That means only one you can select in a group. And in this video, we will see how to create two groups so that in a form you can select two radio buttons. One belongs to group 1 and another one belongs to next group. Radio buttons can be grouped, and within a group, only one button can be in checked state. So as already explained. But a checkbox, you can freely check and uncheck any checkbox. The group name property groups the radio button control. So that's the property we have to use to group the radio buttons. To have multiple radio group, we have to group them under different name in the sense you have to set different group name. Right? If you need two radio button group, assign the buttons under a single group name, and assign the next set of buttons in a different single group name. So we can state G1 one group, G2 one group, assign 2 radio button here under this group, and assign 3 here under this group. Doing so, you can select either one of them in G1 and either one between the 3 in G2 group. Now let's look at the example. It's a demo time. Alright, let's create a new web form and we will name it as MBC05 radio button example. Let's go to split view. Inside the div, we will place our label. Right, we haven't yet saved it. You can see the star mark here. Once I save, in the design you can see the label. So that's the label control we created. Text, we are stating it as where do you live. So that's the label. and here we have a BR tag also, so whatever you post, that will come in the next line. Next, after this BR, we will create a radio button, and you can see here we created a radio button, right? ASP radio button, and the ID is RAD Germany, and auto postback is true, and group name, so this is the important property, group name, if you see LOC. So using this group name, we can group multiple radio button under a single group. So when radio buttons are assigned to a single group, inside the group only one radio button can be set in a selected state. So we will handle this later. And you can see the radio button is created, and we named this as Germany, right? Similarly, we will create 2 more radio buttons, and you can look at the properties. So since I am copy pasting it from the code snippet, and we have to delete this on checked changed, because it will make some entry when we are doing it through IDE. And you can see all these radio buttons are grouped under a single group name, LOC, right? And names are different: RAD Germany, RAD India, and RAD USA. Save all, and if you look at the design, you can see that there is a question, where do you live, and there is a 3 radio button control, and all are grouped under the group name LOC. So if you run the sample at this stage, you can select only one radio button among these 3 among these 3 radio buttons. So here I am pasting the code so that we can avoid the time consumed in form design. And if you want to do that yourself, you can always type the text or place the label control and assign the relevant properties. And to place the radio button, just drag and drop the radio button, and that way also you can design the form. So form design will be boring if I tell that in each and every video in this sub-series. After some point in time, you will get bored, and you may think that we are reiterating the stuff which you already know. Alright, now let's go to the source and place other set of controls. Here you can see we placed a label, and text we are setting it as a number of kids. Right, that's the control we placed. Next, we have a radio button 0 to 2, and group name. Previously the group name was LOC, and since these are all new set of radio button, we are setting the group name as kids here, and we are setting auto post back for all our radio button, and you can see that, right? So this is second radio button, and this is the third one. Finally, we have a label, and for that label we set font bold, font name, and other font related properties. We named this label as LBL display. Now if you go to properties and select the controls one by one, and handle the checked changed event for these radio buttons as well. Since we copy pasted the code, it is showing checked changed. And let's do the rebuild. Okay, so anyhow you have to click it once because it should make an entry. Say for example view, find in file, and if you search for that specific event, you can see the entry. Right, to make this entry we are clicking it once again. Alright, that's all. We have all the event procedure ready by now. So in the form load event handler, we will initialize the label. Next, we will write code for the first radio button group that tells country of residence. So here we check RED Germany, which is in checked state. If that is the case, we are setting our label. So LBL display.text plus residence RED Germany dot text. Right, here we are appending the content to the text. Why? Because there is one more radio button group, and we need to display that content also. So that's why here we are using the LBL text with the append mode. So whatever is there previously, we will use that and append the new content. So the same way we implemented the 3 radio button group, I mean the first radio button group. Next we will take care of number of kits. So that's all. Now we completed the code and we will rebuild the solution. When we run the sample, you may get surprised because since we set auto post back to true, for each button's click, form will be submitted, and we will run the checked changed event and display the content in the label box. First let us run, then we will see what is happening. So we are done with the rebuild option. Now we will start without debugging. Okay, we have to select a specific form, then choose within a browser, and you can see all these controls are set with auto post back. If I select India here, you can see residence India, number of kits, you can see kits 37, but what happened to the previous selection? It doesn't list that. All right, so because each time when you click the control, the data is posted to the web server. Say for example, when I click USA, the data is posted and only one check change event is registered. So the registered event is for the first group. This was done in the previous session. So that's why what people will do, they will go ahead with a submit button. So now let's click all these, right? Go to properties and set auto post back to false. Save all the content. Then here we will place a button. So whenever a button is clicked, the form will be posted, right? So let's place the button and set its property as submit, right? And click here. So we don't want to handle any event on this submit. Once you click, the form will be submitted. And this time, if you see, since we removed auto post back, and when you place a check mark here, and in the number of kits there also, if you place a check mark, the events are registered, and since form is not yet submitted, it will not do anything. And when you click submit, since there are two registered events, the code will run for both the event. So now let's run, and during that time I will explain it once again. View in browser, Microsoft Edge. So now we don't have auto post back for all these control, right? So since form data is not submitted, it will not run. It will not run the event procedure, right? Checked change the event, it will not run because form is not yet submitted. So here user picked USA and number of kits 3 to 7. Form is not submitted, but when you click submit button, it will submit the form field to the IIS server. And in IIS server, our ASP code is running, and when it is running, it knows that there are two events that is triggered by the user on the client browser. So the events are checked changed for two group of radio button. So in the first radio button group, USA is selected, and in the second radio button 3 to 7 radio button is gone into checked state. So what happens here, we will come and this procedure will run for the first time, and next time it will run 3 to 7, right? Now let's look at what happens when we click submit. So this time if you see residents USA, kids 3 to 7 both are displayed. So for this reason only, people collect the form information and submit it when you click the submit button. So if you want something to happen when these radio buttons are selected, say for example, when you click a specific country and if you want to show other details in your checkbox, or if you want to load some other combo box, that time you can go for auto post back and run a specific procedure to load some other related controls. Alright, that's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.